Ah, the French champagne.
So let's get into it. Round one. Story good? Um, Dan, I'm so curious. Also, your thoughts on these movies and the stories they told. What do you think?
Well, first off, I want to start by saying that as somebody who is getting more and more immersed in the world of D&D, Dungeons and Dragons was a thorough disappointment.
What?
Yeah, but it was weird because I was really hoping for a way more exciting movie, but at the end of it, I also found myself kind of wanting to play a round of D&D.
Oh,
Ooh, so it was
Yeah.
effective.
so the commercial worked a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess because it has all the components, like it has different races and enough kind of like ridiculous. It almost felt like a round of D&D that I would personally play.
Right.
Where like things don't make a lot of sense.
Yes.
It's all
I was gonna say the exact same thing while I was watching it. That it has like when you are DMing and when you're playing a game, you kind of like fudge a lot of things just to keep the story going and just
Yeah.
to keep things interesting in the immediate moment. So you forgive certain things that don't make sense and you just roll with things. That's exactly how the script was put together.
Totally. Like really, really loose premise for a quest, and then kind of just it's almost like they were playing a round of D&D as they were writing the script, and each person in the room was kind of just like, and now I do this, and that was it. So
I have a good quote from the star of the film who said that while preparing for the role, he watched D&D games in person, but then realized it seemed to be mostly about arguing and just put my trust in the script. And like, it's not untrue that D&D is largely about arguing, but put his trust in this script.
The script where he said the famous line, "Why don't you pick on somebody your own size?"
oh my God, I have that written as one of my gripes. I was going to pull it out later. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe
There
that.
are things that are so hilarious in this movie where like the number of magical MacGuffins that you need to put together are there's a map, there's a jewel, there's a number of rods and scepters.
Is there more
kinds
than
of
one
them.
rod?
There's
Yep. There's
Yeah.
2 dragon rods. There's the gold one and the red one.
and then his green one, which was a bus at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's rods around, but the fact that like just a little thing that I just like laughed. I laughed a lot at this movie. I have to tell you, it was a very good comedic experience where they're like, we're getting to this town and we need to find the Thieves Guild. Let's see where they are. And they go through this kind of bizarre space and they're like, they talk to one guy and he leaves, and then they follow him, and it's just like, so the Thieves Guild, the secret Thieves Guild, is just found like down some stairs.
I mean,
basically-
Daniel, having played the game that I put together a week ago, there were no stairs. Oh, there were stairs. Weren't there?
There were stairs. There were stairs that led to a room with like a secret meeting happening.
With like
that was
thieves.
just with
In a
thieves.
guild
That
of
was
some sort.
very easy to access. It wasn't really all that hard to
So
find.
I'm just saying that is a D&D game. But also, every piece of fiction, if I can be general, is also D&D. Like Willow
Right.
is D&D.
Yeah.
Star Wars is D&D. It's all about a hero's journey. So to make a movie that is purely supposed to be D&D and then to not include anything like dice, even if it was just people playing dice in the background or something, or checks, like they have to check their skill, really test something, to not include those things, you're just making a movie and you're slapping Dungeons and Dragons on it.
It'd be like you say with the dice, right? It'd be cool if this movie, or just an entirely different movie, let's say, took this concept and did it like a Jumanji-esque style thing, where it's like people playing the game and then like the game is real, but it's still about like dice throws and stuff.
A framework
like
for your
you know.
Oh, that would be cool. They are working
evil
on a
DM?
reboot. They are working on a reboot of this movie and have been for
Sure
the
are.
past like 6 years.
Great.
Yeah.
And they just recently said that they're like penning a new version of the script. So
A sequel came out. Apparently, I learned.
Yeah.
A sequel. Okay,
this movie.
did you do any research? Because I was profoundly confused by the end of this movie, and I'm dying to know if the,
Yeah.
if the beginning of the sequel picks up
No,
where the
they're
end
not
of
in
this
it.
one. They're not in it.
The only person
Weirdly
in-
enough, the only guy who makes a return is
Marlon Wayans.
but might as well be. It was Damadil. Is that his name?
Damodar.
Damodar?
Damodar, yeah, the evil guy with the
the
shit,
cute-
the
The
brain
cute
sucker.
blue lip.
Yeah.
Just the cutest blue lip you can imagine. Yeah, he who gets stabbed and thrown off a tower. He makes a return. Weirdly enough.
Is it a prequel? Doesn't matter. I don't care. So, what was I gonna say? I had a good follow up to what you just said about the dice and stuff, Sean.
Would you like me to
more-
say it again? Okay. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. It's more of a question, actually. And it's not related at all. As somebody who has played a bunch of D&D, do the games normally involve thousands of dragons? Because I feel like that was this script's way of trying to like relate it to the game, having maybe never actually played the game.
Yeah, like I can tell you that in, let's say, 7-ish years of playing D&D pretty regularly, I have encountered exactly one full-size dragon and like maybe a couple pocket dragons here and there. If you're playing a legendary game just for the lulz and all your characters are like level 30, then sure, you're probably going to be fighting with armies of dragons against each other. But no, that doesn't.
Okay.
But they had to get the dragons in there, and at minute 40, they got a dungeon in there. So it is technically Dungeons and Dragons.
Plural dragons. It's not called Dungeons and maybe a dragon. Dragons plural. Like they gotta be there.
Bunch of dragons.
Yeah,
But there's only
bunch of
one
dragons.
dungeon. It is dungeons plural. There should have been more than one dungeon. By
They
that
went down
logic.
to that thieves guild. No, there was like the dungeon sort of esque arena that he had to go through the maze. That
Yeah,
could be
that's the
dungeon.
40-minute. That's the 40-minute dungeon.
Oh,
I'm
that's the
talking
one.
about. Yeah,
and then he
that's
went
what
into
I
a
count.
cave.
You did go into that is also a dungeon.
And it's not, I want to make this very clear. It is not a cave of wonders. He is not a diamond in the rough. Okay. And this movie is not Aladdin. Okay.
No.
That's also very clear. I want to make that
Yeah.
abundantly clear. It's not Aladdin.
No.
All right.
I wish I understood that reference a bit more, but I don't think I've ever actually watched Aladdin.
Dan, what
I
in
know.
the,
I've
What
been
in
thinking
the-
about
but you saw
maybe watching
Lolita.
the. Yeah, I didn't seek it out, man. That wasn't my choice. But that's a glimpse into
It's not a
my
glimpse.
It
childhood
would have
for
come
you.
out
yeah.
around the same time, and she would have had to see the Aladdin poster and the Lolita poster, which is not subtle, and she would have had to chosen a Lolita for her children to watch.
the Citizen Kane of the week is